So it's been Marrow throughout. Then also it was Marrow, but just maybe one or two short subjects only. But after I started, when the internship completed and I started properly, then it's been properly completing every subject and then proceeding in a proper fashion.
So you were a Plan C user. You had the video content
Yes.
access as well.
So firstly is Rebecca ma'am because she makes biochemistry so easy and to retain longer, and
Right.
Samukh Mohit Singh sir as well for his very concise revision videos and making a subject like community medicine crisp and concise. So third revision, I used to again slightly because I used to get bored, so I tried to go through the VR with you sessions and the integrated sessions where I saw two of my favorite faculties come together, and
Right.
that was very enjoyable. Especially so the session of Sakshi ma'am and Neela ma'am, I loved that so much.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Rohan Khandelwal, your marrow surgery faculty, and I have the honor of interviewing Dr. Antarleena today. Dr. Antarleena has had a remarkable journey over the last 1 year. Last year, when she was using Marrow while doing her internship, her rank in the NEET PG exam was 59,000. In 1 year, she's transformed it and leaped forward to a rank of 342. So that's quite an improvement. And she's taken out time to share her journey, which I feel is very important for students who are in the middle rankers or those who haven't got their desired rank. She will share tips with you, which would boost your confidence to perform well in future as well. Also, one more thing which I want to highlight, she comes from a private medical college and she has, overturned all the odds and then captured or secured this great rank. So heartiest congratulations, Dr. Antalina. Great rank, great score. What was the feeling like in your family? You told me you come from a family of doctors. What was the feeling when you got the result?
Thank you so much, sir. The result, they were expecting something good, but 342 they did not. So it was a lot of happiness.
So, coming from a family of doctors, do you think it's added pressure on you as well, or is it good support around yourself? And I mean, they help you to do better.
Yes, sir. The support and the help and the understanding is much more, but there's also the pressure to perform as well.
Right. So, Dr. Antalina, you started preparing during your internship, but that wasn't proper preparation because your internship was quite busy. What was
Yes.
the source which you was using then, and what was the source which you used over the last year to prepare for the NEET PG exam?
So it's been Marrow throughout. Then also it was Marrow, but just maybe one or two short subjects only. But after I started, when the internship completed and I started properly, then it's been properly completing every subject and then proceeding in a proper fashion.
So you were a Plan C user. You had the video content
Yes,
access as well. All
yes, sir.
right. And you were telling me that you've seen all the subject videos, all 19 subject videos. And
Yes.
there is a great set of faculty which we have. Any particular faculty who had a lasting impression on you or helped you quite a lot during your preparation?
So firstly is Rebecca ma'am because she makes biochemistry so easy and to retain longer, and
Right.
Samukh Mohit Singh sir as well for his very concise revision videos and making a subject like community medicine crisp and concise.
Correct. I mean, it can be a really vast and, if I may say, boring subject. And
Yes,
Dr. Mohit does a wonderful job with it.
yes,
Absolutely.
sir.
So, Antarina, let's get straight to the point. There are few questions which are very important for me, which students would also like to know. If I would ask you five things which led to this great jump in your rank from 59,000 to 342 in a span of 1 year. So, what were the five things which you did correctly?
So, firstly, somebody who plans everything always goes a long way, and that always helps one
Okay.
achieve the daily targets. And that is a very positive boost that I have completed what I had to today, and I'm looking forward to the next day. So,
Right. So
schedule
proper,
is very important.
correct. So proper planning, and we'll elaborate on this later on. So that's number one. Please go ahead.
So, secondly, is proper revisions, very well timed revisions, which
Yeah.
is the first, if it is taking for me, it was 7 to 8 months. Then the next revision should take about 3.5 months. Then the next will be, even subsequent revisions will be even shorter. So, 2 months, 1 month, like that.
Okay. So effective revision and in short, what you're saying, what I've spoken about previously as well, halving the time. So if your first reading took 7 or 8 months, you halved it in your second revision, in your first revision, halved it further in your second revision.
Yes.
Perfect. So 2 points. Third point, please.
So third point would be is to go in a very orderly fashion. That if I'm picking up one subject, I will complete its videos. I'm a Plan C user, so videos, and then doing its question bank, and then giving maybe a subject-wise test, so that I feel there's a sense of completion that yes, I have more or less understood.
So closure for each subject rather than leaving
Yes,
it open-ended.
yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
Right. So that was point number three.
Yes, sir. So point four would be is to the making the 20th notebook that always Abbas Ali sir says is to that will happen actually after the first revision, that when you understand that which are the points that I would like to remember in the last, and make a fresh 20th notebook and revise it in the last 1 month before the exam. That just makes it so easy.
Correct. So that is another very effective tool when you're revising. And I also did that when I was preparing for my USMLE. So perfect. And the last one, fifth point.
So last one would be is to maintain a very healthy schedule, not just for the studies, but also overall the sleeping time, eating healthy food, maintaining good relations, surrounding yourself with people who will motivate you, and make this journey, this tough journey, a lot easier and memorable.
So you made a very important point that you don't need to procrastinate and you need to have the right set of people, because the right mindset and the right set of people is what is going to propel you towards a good rank. And the
Yes, sir.
last year has been, as it is very difficult for all of you because of all the postponements. And this point which you made is very pertinent. So, five very useful points which Dr. Antarleena has highlighted. So, Dr. Antarleena, in hindsight, is there something which you would have changed to make your preparation even better?
So one thing that I regret a little bit is starting with the GTs a little late. I always wanted to finish my first revision so that I at least score well and not feel very demotivated. So I started a bit late. I could have started earlier.
Right. And when did you start your GTs?
So after my first revision, so it was almost 9, 10 months into the preparation.
Okay. All right. Fine. Now, one very important thing, and I think so, which has not been discussed much, is effective revision, right? A lot of students are clueless regarding how to revise once they've done their first reading. And you told me that you did your first reading in 7 to 8 months, which is fine, which is what we tell students, that take your time in doing the first reading as it is most important. But let's talk about revision. How did you go about your first revision, second revision in detail so that students can benefit from it?
So the first revision was I had completed my handwritten notes by then. So I used to diligently go through each of the handwritten notes, complete the little bit of question bank that is left, and maybe give a few subject-wise tests. So that was therefore a little stretched out. Maybe it took me 2, 3 months, close to.
Which is fine.
So
I think so, as long as you're halving the time, so you took 7 months for your first reading and then you finish your first revision in 3 months. I think so, it's all right. So, what you said, read the notes thoroughly. And were you underlining the notes so that, in your subsequent revision, you had to read only select portions of the notes?
yes, and especially color-coded highlights.
Okay, right. So again, a methodical system where you were color coding them so that you knew what to read in your next
Yes.
revision. So that is a very important point, and that's one way how you can cut down your time in each revision. So read the notes, solve the Q bank again, and you did subject-wise tests as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about bookmarked MCQs? Were you doing the entire question bank again or just the bookmarked MCQs?
So the first revision was almost going through the entire question bank again, but subsequently I did not do that. That was only the bookmark, because bookmarked only there were so many.
So effectively, you solve the question bank twice.
Yes, sir.
Wow. So that's great. I think so. And going through the explanations and solving the questions again with such a comprehensive Q bank, that would have helped you a lot. So, how
Yes.
many modules approximately from the Q bank were you doing on a daily basis?
So on a daily basis, I would be doing close to 8 to 10 modules every day.
Right. So, you had your own little marathon going for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes.
That is great. That is great. So, first revision, read the notes, QBank, subject wise test. And what
Yes,
was
sir.
the frequency of GTs in these 2 to 3 months when you did your first revision?
So I gave 1 GT per month.
Okay, all right, perfect. And what was your strategy when it came to revising the GTs? Because a lot of students give GTs and either they are very happy with the rank and they don't revise, or they are very sad with the rank and they don't revise the GT. How were you revising the GT?
So first 1 or 2 GTs, I thought I will check the answers tomorrow, and then tomorrow never came. Yes, sir. So after that, I made it a point that if I'm giving a GT on Tuesday, then on Wednesday, those same 3 hours I'm going to take out and go through the questions.
Perfect, perfect. And what about your second revision? Let's move on to the second revision, which again you did in a month and a half's time.
Yes, sir. So second
What all?
revision, I took the help of some Marrow's revision videos and MCQ discussion videos, because by that time the first postponement had happened and I was not very much willing to open the notes again. So I wanted to do it in a slightly different way. So I took
Mhm.
the help of the revision videos and I used to plug that into my ears and open the notes in front of me. So that was very fast and very effective also.
Right. So again, second revision, this what Dr. Antarleena did was utilize a different
Way.
method to
Yes.
revise the same concepts, right? So this is one of the strategies for spaced revision where you use a different modality to revise the same concepts, and she used the revision videos and the MCQ discussion videos to do this. Perfect. And beside by side, you had opened up your notes as well. The frequency of GTs was the same once a month, or did you take more frequent GTs in your second
A
revision?
little more frequently. So it was about 1 in 20 days, maybe.
Perfect, perfect. And was there a third revision also?
Yes, sir. Third revision, thanks to the again postponement after April. So the
Right.
third revision.
You turned that postponement into an advantage for yourself and you did a third revision. And what did
Yes,
you do
sir.
in the third revision?
So third revision, I used to again slightly, because I used to get bored. So I tried to go through the VR with you sessions and the integrated sessions where I saw two of my favorite faculties come together, and
Right.
that was very enjoyable. Especially so the session of Sakshi ma'am and Neela ma'am. I loved that so much.
Right. I think so. They also had a great time recording it. They
Yes,
both were
sir.
gone for 5, 6 hours and they enjoyed themselves. Okay, great. So again, using a different modality to revise, you then utilize the VR with you sessions and the integrated sessions to learn concepts.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So I think so. What Dr. Antalina has beautifully highlighted is her revision strategy and the fact that at least 2 to 3 revisions are required to secure a very good rank. And that can only come if you plan methodically and you stick to it. So, Dr. Antalina, let's talk about the planning part because that is one area where students tend to devote less time, right? They don't plan properly. They think that if we utilize 1 or 2 days, they're literally wasting those days. Would you differ from what I'm saying? And what was, how did you plan when you started preparing in February 2020?
So, February 2020, I knew that I had to complete everything. By then, it was scheduled that the NEET will happen in January. So, according to that, I devoted about I think 1 day where I sat down and I listed what all I had to do. So the videos and the subject-wise tests and the question banks, I knew that this will take time. So the first revision would always space out to 7 to 8 months. And then in the last 4 months, I knew I had to go through 2 revisions or maybe 3 if time allows, and also give more GTs during that time.
Okay. All right.
And
So this planning which was happening, were you making like short-term targets, mid-term targets, long-term targets, or was it like devoting, a particular number of days for one subject? How did you plan?
so in the beginning, it was about 1 week for each subject, or especially the short ones, and the long ones would be a little more than that. So that was weekly targets, and later it shifts to daily targets.
Okay. And you said that every subject you picked up, supposing you were giving 1 week to it, you wanted closure on that subject. So you
Yes,
were
sir.
watching the videos, you were making notes, you did the Q bank, and you did subject-wise tests to close the loop for that subject.
Yes, sir. That sense of completion really gives a boost.
Correct. So that is like a positive reinforcement. If you've done that for one or two subjects, that would propel you forward and it would, encourage you to do it for other subjects as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. Great. Now, you also spoke about the 20th notebook, right? That is something with both Dr. Abbas and me have spoken about. I planned it for my USMLE preparation, and he's spoken about it for Indian PG preparation as well. Tell us, what all did you include in your 20th notebook, and when did you start making it?
So my first revision was highlighting my own handwritten notes in green. The second revision was in pink. So by the time I was moving on to my third revision, I knew that these pink points were the ones that I had to retain for the last revision. So that were the ones that I copied into my 20th notebook.
So I feel that's an excellent strategy because writing down those important points once more
Yes, sir.
reinforces them in your mind. And then how many times did you revise this 20th notebook before the exam?
So 20th notebook, I think twice.
Right, perfect. So that's like first aid for USMLE, which we do at least 2 or 3 times for the USMLE exam. And by revising that, first you write down those points and then you revise them twice. So this is like a mini high yield revision, which you've done 3 times.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Perfect. Great. And also, how did you know which were the important points or the important topics? Because a lot of times students, ask us, sir, हमें नहीं पता कि क्या important है. हम तो सब कुछ लिख लेते हैं और we bookmark everything. So how do you come to know what are the important topics?
So, firstly, question bank gives a good idea about which are the main areas from where more question load is there. So,
Right.
secondly, giving tests, subject wise tests, or grand tests, or mini tests, they are also continuously asking questions from the main high yield areas. So, again, opening the notes while reviewing those GTs and highlighting those areas where more number of questions have been asked, that gives an idea that okay, these are the areas where more questions are possible.
So did you make a list of these topics somewhere that these are the points, like supposing on the front page of your notebook that these are the points or these are the topics which I really need to pay attention to?
Yes, not maybe for all subjects, not for the short ones, but for surgery, I knew that a few stagings are very important. A few points about the general surgery and the trauma part, those are important. So I had a list in front of the notebook.
Okay, all right. So, Dr. Antarleena, it is a very stressful period and you need to detox sometimes, you need time off, you need a stress buster. What were the stress busters for you during your preparation phase?
As we have said, that a very positive family, and I also live with my grandparents. So maybe going and talking to them for 15-20 minutes every day, it's a huge positive boost.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
yes, and sometimes maybe if watching a movie or two to just relax for one weekend, and again going back to the studies.
Another very important point which I always like to know is social media usage. So, how did you utilize social media during your preparation phase?
So social media, I used an alternate account in Facebook and Instagram, which only I used to follow the Marrow and the faculties. So uh,
Okay.
to restrict the distractions there. But WhatsApp is something that we can't switch off. It's important also for all the updates and everything.
Right. So, what was your approximate phone usage time per day during your preparation?
So initially it was quite high, but later forcibly I had to cut it down. I would say about 1 or 2 hours it used to be, especially during the break
Okay.
times.
Right, which is fine, which is okay. And you also told me that you used to sing whenever you were, you needed to relax. So why don't we have a few lines from you during the
Sure, sir.
interview as well? Please go ahead.
ये मोह मोह के धागे तेरी उंगलियों से जा उलझे कोई टोह टोह ना लागे किस तरह गिरहा ये सुलझे है रोम रोम एक तारा जो बादलों में से गुजरे ये मोह मोह के धागे तेरी उंगलियों से जा उलझे कोई टोह टोह ना लागे किस तरह गिरहा ये सुलझे. Thank you.
That's excellent. You have a lovely voice, and it just amazes me that how talented you people are. That the other day I was interviewing Zubin, who's an actor, and he secured a top 10 rank, and you
Yes,
also
sir.
have an amazing voice. Great, great. Any
Thank you.
final remarks or any tips which you would like to give to the students who are listening to your interview before we finish the interview?
So, a, a person who is very meticulous, very who plans schedules and tries to fulfill daily targets always goes a very long way. So, if possible, just whenever you feel that I'm in the middle of nowhere, just take some time out and make a schedule and try to follow that. Every target will keep on you'll fulfilling, and that will be a very positive boost towards the finale.
Great. Great words from Dr. Antarleena and an amazing rank. Heartiest congratulations once more. And all
Thank
of
you,
us
sir.
from Marrow wish you a very great medical career ahead. All the best.
Thank you, sir. It's been a wonderful 1 year with Marrow, and it's been great.
All the best. All the best, Antarleena. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.